What's up, guys? It's Drifts and Lifts here. Oh, jeez. Alright, so today, interesting little video. I'm going to be showing you guys how to install a catch can on your cars. And I may as well show you how to install a boost gauge too, because that's what I did yesterday. So I'll show you, it's a pretty easy process and how I do it. So I'll go through that. Before I start all that though, I want to let you guys know, if you haven't seen this already, the Drifts and Lifts Volvo Drift Lager shirts are available. So there's hoodies, shirts, stickers, mugs even. So make sure when you're looking at the Drifts and Lifts store on my Teespring account, there's a European campaign and also just a North American campaign. So choose whatever one is closest to you because you'll get cheaper shipping that way. I'm sorry I forgot to let you guys know that yesterday on the video. So yeah, I'm really stoked about the shirts. They turned out awesome. I ordered a couple myself, so I'm going to be rocking them. Yeah, make sure you get the whole Volvo Drift collection, the Volvo Drift beer collection. So yeah, I guess I'll get into the video. So, on the black wagon here, there is no catch can, but if you look at Goldie, I have the catch can right here. So, having a catch can on a car is really, it's a good thing to have when you're running higher boost and that kind of thing. Because if you look at the stock Volvo PCV system, basically this tube right here goes down into the charcoal canister underneath there. So that's your PCV box, I guess they like to call it. So normally this tube right here would just run right into this intake. And the problem with that is, you know, once these cars have fairly high kilometers, almost every single one of them. So blow by, they'll have a bit more blow by than the factory. They're not going to have perfect compression every time. So when you're boosting, there's going to be building up quite a bit of crankcase pressure. So with that crankcase pressure comes oil mist, and it essentially gets chucked up through the PCV catch can. And what happens is a lot of that oil, if you're ripping on the car and you know you're doing wide open throttle pulls and drifting and stuff, a lot of that oil is going to come up through this tube, and it's all going into your intake system. So if you've ever drained an intercooler on one of these cars, almost every new, say I get a 740 turbo, I don't know anything about it. One of the first things I usually do is drain the intercooler. Usually there's like tons of oil in them. I actually just drained the one on the black wagon a couple days ago, and like, man, I got like a crazy amount of oil out of that thing. It was pretty scary actually. Another reason is the turbo was on its way out in that thing too, on the old motor. So that kind of helped it. But yeah, like I said, every single intercooler I drain always has some oil in it. So I'd recommend that if you haven't done that already. So essentially what the catch can does is it catches that oil before it goes into your intake system, into your turbo, into your intercooler, and you know, eventually reaches the manifold, and you don't exactly want to be gulping down oil like a Slurpee through your motor. So yeah, it's a really simple process. You guys can probably already see this. I almost don't even need to show you guys how to install one, but I may as well. So it's really easy. I have a hose clamp right there. And then, so this catch can is a Moroso. I bought it brand new back when I worked up in the Alberta oil rigs and I had a bit of, you know, good spending money. Otherwise, you could just make it out of like anything, like a little metal container essentially. And what this catch can is it has like a steel wool inside of it. So the oil mist comes through and the oil gets caught by the steel wool and the oil just runs down to the bottom of the catch can, and then you get, you know, fresh crankcase vapors going through this back into the intake. Now a lot of you guys are probably thinking like, oh, and you know, a lot of you guys probably have done this also, just running a tube off the crankcase box and then down to the floor or into like a little bottle or whatever. So yeah, you could also do that. But one thing I like about running it back into the intake is that it kind of gives it a bit of like a vacuum effect. So not only is the crankcase pressure being pushed out, it's getting pulled out by the intake system. So that helps it a bit. It really relieves all that crankcase pressure, and you know, that way you're not going to get any oil leaks and stuff. I already did this in another video, how to clean a PCV box. So make sure you do that, because the PCV box on these cars, like I've said before, you need to clean those. They get they get gummed up with, you know, a bunch of grimy oil, crud, and that kind of stuff. And eventually they get plugged almost solid, and then your engine has nowhere for the crankcase pressure to relieve itself. So that ends up, you know, then essentially all your pressure is going to have to leave somewhere. So it leaves out the oil seals and the distributor and the crank seal, the cam seal, all that stuff. So it's going to leak out basically the easiest path it can find. So yeah, I guess I'll get started. I'm going to install the catch can from Goldie, because Goldie is going to be off the road for just a little while here while I mess around with the black wagon. So in the meantime, I'm going to put that in the black wagon. So let's do that. Alright, so what I did is disconnected this. I just had a hose clamp on it because, yeah, I've had them slip off before, so I put a hose clamp to make sure that doesn't happen. And then all this was held on was a little screw going through that hole, meeting up with that hole. And I had some shoelace keeping it away from the exhaust, because yeah, the exhaust gets pretty hot when it's up through there. So there we go. We got the catch can off, and it's literally just going to go in the same spot on this car. I think that little screw hole that I mount the catch can with, that's actually for, it's like a way to mount the pipes for the AC system from the factory. So it actually works out. It's a nice little mounting space for the catch can. So yeah, gonna throw that on there. And yeah, since this video is not so boring, after I'm done this work on the car, I think I'm gonna take you guys for a rip in the wagon. I'll put the GoPro helmet on, go for a street cruise. I got the boost up to like 13, 14 PSI, so it goes pretty good. It's pretty healthy car. This motor runs like really nice actually. So yeah, the catch can will be good for running more boost. And then I'll also show you guys how to install a boost gauge and how I do that. So I'll get to that when I get to it though. Alright, so the factory location for this tube is in the same one as on the gold car, but you'll notice there's no hose clamps on the factory ones. Oh, see, that pulled out. That's why, yeah, it's good to have hose clamps on these things, because from the factory they probably fit nice and snug in there, but getting all old, and since the hoses are usually a little bit, you know, crusty and a little bit dried out, the seal won't be quite as good. So it's good to have a hose clamp. You don't really want, that'll be, I guess that would be kind of be a vacuum leak essentially. Not really, no, never mind. It wouldn't be. Scratch that. So yeah, it's good to just have it sealed up so the whole system's not leaking out air. So yeah, I'm going to take that off, and then I'll put the aftermarket one on. Okay, so the catch can is installed. So I got a hose clamp on there, there, and there. Oh no, there. Yeah, so we're all good. That catch can kind of just flops here. It's not like super secure. It kind of moves around a little bit, but that's not a huge deal. My nut that or my bolt that I chose down there didn't fit all the way through. So hey, that's all good. It's secure. Man, there's a lot going on in this engine bay right now. I got like the IPD strut tower bar, the catch can. Yeah, with the stock Airbox, it takes up a lot of room in this area. I'm probably going to end up changing that. You know what's funny though? I've actually noticed that the stock Airbox, where it pulls air from, is actually a cold air intake. You guys may know that from the factory they generally come with like a tube that comes from here and it hooks up to the exhaust. You want to take that out, and inside the stock Airbox there's a air flapper that essentially will pull from the hot air side when the car is cold to warm the motor up quicker, and then it switches over and pulls air from the fender well. So that's actually a pretty good location to pull air from, because the fender well is always getting fresh air chucked up by the tire and stuff, right? So I found that if you guys want to just put a cone filter right here, that's actually worse as far as intake air temperatures go, because that's all engine bay heat really. All it's sucking is just, you know, the whole engine bay. So the stock Airbox is actually like kind of decent. If you go with something like I did here with Goldie, or make your own box, see how I cut out the plate and it's got an air scoop coming up to here, kind of rerouted it down. But Yeah, so I'm just gonna leave the stock airbox in for now. It's not a big deal to me. I kind of like it actually. So now I'm gonna go on to how to install a boost gauge in one of these cars. There's lots of ways to do this. Depends on where you want to install it. I really like this because it looks it actually fits in here perfect. The boost gauge just wedges in there and it kind of just sits in there nicely. So how you start, you're gonna look for your boost line coming off the intake manifold. Here, what I'll do is open up the hood all the way. One of the best things about a 740, I don't know, maybe 240s have this too, I haven't actually looked. So yeah, hood's up all the way. Now we got nice light in the engine bay for you guys to see. So if we look around right here, this vacuum line that has the kind of a little bit sketchy bend in it, if we follow that, we're gonna go all the way down to, so we have it right here as well. So we're gonna follow that and we're gonna make our way. It essentially, I can see it right there, the vacuum line. Let's see if I can touch it. Right here. So just follow that vacuum line. It's right here. It's gonna go into the firewall through this little grommet. So now we're gonna go through here. And what I like to do is just hook it up to the stock vacuum line. So I hope I can get some light for you guys in here. I'll slide my seat back so I got a bit more room. Okay, so if you look, right here is a little T. So from the factory, so the line comes right here, and that's the one that came from the firewall. It meets up in this T right here, and from the factory, this line will go up and it plugs into the overboost solenoid. So the overboost solenoid is on LH 2.2 cars before 1990. And that's what triggers, if you run too much boost, that will give you a fuel cut. You want to leave that plugged in if you have stock injectors and that kind of thing, because your stock injectors can't hold more than 14 pounds, and that's where the thing usually fuel cuts at. So then normally there's another vacuum line coming off right here, and that would go up to the stock boost gauge. So instead, what I did is I popped open. Yeah, it's kind of janky. I don't know if you guys can see it, but if you look up here, there's an air chute for your heating and climate controls. So I broke that open. There's a little joint. It's right here. Oh, I wish I had some good light for you guys. Right there. So that's where I ran my other vacuum line off that T. And essentially, sorry guys. Yeah, essentially, if we pull this boost gauge out, there we go. So there's the vacuum line coming off it right there. So yeah, all I did was run it right off the stock T. So it works for me, and the boost gauge just, with a little bit of pressure, you can kind of push it in just like that. There you go. So yeah, that's it. Pretty straightforward, guys. I like that boost gauge mounting location. If you guys want to do something different, go right ahead. That's a really easy way to do it. You don't even have to make your own mounts or anything like that. So I guess what we're gonna do now is go for a little cruise in this, and then I'll wrap up the video. Yeah, I'm not sure if you guys have been in a cruise in this car yet. Yeah, I guess you have. I'll bring my GoPro helmet. I'll throw that on and do a couple wide open throttle pulls. Like I said, running about 13, 14 PSI, so it actually pulls pretty respectably. So yeah, that's good to go. Alright guys, I'm in Black Wagon. She's all nice and warm. This is a pretty straight road. I'll just do a bit of an acceleration pull right here. Yeah, the gear ratio on this car is like crazy low in the rear diff. So it hits limiter like so quick in first, but here I'll pin in first and then go like second to third. Wow, this thing fucking moves, man. 140 right there. Damn. Not bad. Oh my god. I just passed a fucking cop. And I had my helmet on. Oh my god. I wonder if he saw me. Oh my god. Unreal. Yeah, so like if we pin it right now, thing boogies. I got a bit of weird vibration in the rear end though. I think I might have to check that out. And there we go, guys. So that was pretty fun. A little cruise in the wagon. I really like this car. The way I cut the springs on it, only 2.5 coils in the front and 3 in the back. It rides. It still has a bit of give to the suspension, so it doesn't feel like I'm riding on a bag of rocks or something. Yeah, so it's really fun. So I guess that's a wrap up of the video. Make sure you guys check out the Drift and Lift store. I know I keep saying this, but the Volvo Drift Logger right here, this design, is up for sale on the Drift and Lift store right now. So if you guys go into the description of this video, there's going to be a link to my Drift and Lift store, and you'll find all the different designs. And like I said at the beginning of the video, make sure you choose the European campaign if you're in Europe somewhere, because that way shipping will be cheaper, and choose the USA campaign if you're in, you know, North America, because shipping will be cheaper. So yeah, I guess that's it. So things to come for the channel. I'm going to be doing a diff mod on the black wagon this weekend. So like I said, if it's a G80, I'll do the locker mod. If it's an open diff, I'll weld it. Aaron Glennon, my good friend, is going to be helping me with that. He welds all my Volvo diffs. He's a really good welder. So, you know, I don't actually have a welder. That's something I plan on getting eventually here. But in the meantime, Aaron does a good job on everything, and I never have a problem with that. So yeah, then once we're done that, we're gonna be, you know, filming street drifting videos in this thing. I don't really like to do drifting right now in it because literally with an open differential in the back, it just, it's no fun. You can't keep your momentum going like you'd want to, and it makes drifting kind of lame. So I guess that's it, guys. Like and subscribe for undercooked Volvo hot dogs. Peace out, guys.